In the prior video, we talked mostly about the individuals in the business, the individual contributors. Now we're going to talk about how we group them together, how we decide who reports to whom. We can't have everybody reporting to the CEO. These are the types of organizational structures we're going to look at, and we're going to spend a little time on each of them. Let's start with a functional organization. Functional organization, and this is really a crappy chart. It's from the book, but it might help to give a little visualization. We start with the CEO. And reporting to the CEO are managers that represent the type of work that people do. So, for example, I have all my accounting under an accounting manager. Under marketing, I'd have all the marketing and sales people. Under here, what's missing, I think in a lot of organizations, would be manufacturing. All the manufacturing would report in this organization. And we would have operations, HR, we'd have finance. Each of them would report to the president. Well, what's good about that is what was good about job specialization. Take the manufacturing organization, which isn't shown here. That manufacturing manager, all they have to worry about is manufacturing. They become very good at manufacturing. They understand manufacturing. Everybody in that organization only does manufacturing and works and worries about manufacturing. Same thing in sales. Well, they become very efficient. They become very good. Functional organization charts, and this is very important, are good for minimizing costs. The low-cost organization structure. What's not so good about them is organizations tend to be social animals as well. All the marketing people will probably have their own softball team. The manufacturing team will have their softball team. The accounting organization will have their softball team. That's not bad. But when it comes time to work across organizations, let's suppose you have here a salesperson that needs, or sales staff here, that has an issue with people over here, in this case, note takers, which I have no idea what that is. Well, if they have an issue, they can't agree on something. Maybe the salespeople say, hey, if we added the color purple, we could sell a lot more. Note takers say, we're not doing purple. Well, who do they go to? They go to their supervisor. Supervisors, we're not changing. Well, we can't do that. They disagree. Goes up to their managers. They discuss. They can't agree. So who ends up resolving these decisions that can't be resolved down here? Potentially the president or the owner or the CEO. That makes organizations not very responsive. Let's suppose my product could sell 10,000 more units, but the manufacturing people say, nope, we're not doing it because it increases our costs. Well, that might be the right thing to do for the company, but it's the manufacturing people say, nope, we're not doing it. So we're not responsive in this kind of organization structure. And the only person responsible for the product is the CEO. Let's suppose we do something and the product is a failure. Who's responsible? The CEO. If it's a success, it's the CEO. Nobody else is accountable for the entire product. Now, we could have different types of divisional responsibilities. I can organize my business, for example, by product, my product structure. Disney is organized this way. We have the CEO of Disney, and they have the theme parks, they have retail, they've got Disney Plus. Car manufacturers, I have the CEO of General Motors, and they have Chevy, and they've got GMC, and they've got Buick. And so it's organized by product. Now, if a product is not selling well, who's to blame? Or who's responsible? The person that's managing that, not the CEO. If there's an issue that needs to get resolved, it can get resolved at a lower level. Things don't have to go up to the CEO every time. That people can't decide. This person here is responsible for the product. Same way I can do something for a customer. I can organize by retail or commercial business customers. I might organize by a hospital. I might organize by, I have a maternity ward. I've got cancer care. I've got urgent care. I can organize by the type of customer rather than product. Well, I can also organize geographically. We tend to think of these as international. I might have a CEO, then I have US operations, I might have European operations, Asian operations, things like that. And notice, reporting to each of these are accounting, the marketing, operations, and HR, the ones from the function. So all the functional people report here, and all the functional people report to the European. Same thing back if I went to the product. For each of these areas, each product, they would have the sales, the marketing, the manufacturing. These guys would have the sales, the marketing, manufacturing, and all the way along. What is the downside of this? Although it's more responsive, it's more expensive. So for example, if I had a manufacturing person that was painting cars, I had one manufacturing person under a functional organization. Now I'd have to have a painter here, and a painter there, and a painter here, and a painter there. So it would be more expensive. I have higher costs, but I would be more responsive. Same thing here. You can see I have each of the functions reporting in here. I can be very responsive to the needs of my area, but it's more expensive. Now, it doesn't have to be international. It could be in the US, for example, insurance companies are organized geographically. There's organizations typically for the Northeast and for the Northwest, Southwest, and Southeast. Why? Well, they got different needs, right? I got hurricanes mostly down here. I don't have any hurricanes on the West Coast. I have nor'easters here, different types of problems in different areas. And so I might have a different organization to be responsive to them. The last organization structure I want to talk about is the matrix organization. This is a horrible structure. I've been in these and they're awful. Typically, it combines two different organizations. Here's my example, here's the different functional organizations. They finally show manufacturing. And then down here, I might have a product structure. Problem is, each of these little guys in here, let's pretend this is you or me. We've got two bosses. We've got a manufacturing boss and a product boss. And they might have different ideas. This person wants me to do stuff that'll add costs. This manufacturing person says, we're not adding, new paint and different parts and stuff like that. And so this person here gets caught in the crossfire between the two different types of managers that they have to be responsible to. It happens, but it is a very difficult organization to be in when you have the conflicting directions and goals. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the concepts that come in the next video.